do Bill Cosby, Bow Wow, sexting teachers, Ferguson have in common? Well, we're going to be talking. They're all hot topics, and we're going to be talking about them right here, right now on Lori and Cher.
Welcome to the Lori and Cher Show, Hacking into Awesome. I'm Lori Williamson.
And I'm Cher Jones.
And if you don't know, Cher and I are cousins, and we host this weekly Google Plus Hangout where we talk to absolutely amazing people and literally hack in to what makes them awesome.
That's right, Lori Williamson, and tonight is going to be a fun night, a crazy night, but it's going to be fun because we're talking all hot topics, and I'm excited about our guests, but I want to remind everybody before we move right into our guests that you can get social with us because we're pretty much everywhere on the interwebs, so you'll be able to see us in pretty much everywhere. You find us under Lori and Cher as well. We want you to join in the comments tonight because we are dishing some hotness, and we want to make sure that your voice is heard. So if you are watching this from YouTube or from Google+, if you type in the comments, we may feature you on the show. As well, our associate producer will be heading over to Twitter tonight, and Adriel will just be holding it down using the hashtag Lori and Cher. So either way, no matter which way you hit us up, you will be able to connect with us on the show.
I'm always excited when we ever have hot topics because it's us, we get to talk, we get to chat, and we get to share our own opinions about what's happening on the interwebs. I am so excited to introduce our friends from La Belle Province, from the city of Montreal. They're a duo. They're Canada's version of Callie and Michael, except these two are actually married. They're high school sweethearts with 3 adorable children. And they have this comedic podcast that comes on weekly, airs several times, called Camilla. So I'd love to welcome Shirley and Clove to the Lori and Cher Show.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Awesome. You two are ready to kind of hang out in our world.
Yes.
Because this is Hangout World, not podcast, not Spreecast.
Yes, we do our show live on Spreecast. We started the new year doing it 3 days a week, but then life kind of
reminded us that we don't have that much time.
And new opportunities. So then it's down to 2 days a week, and yeah, we just kind of go from there.
Just playing it by ear.
Yeah.
Oh, but I love that, and I love hearing about new opportunities as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's been kind of a roller coaster, but in a very good way. You know, Clove and I set a goal 2 years ago, and we said, you know, when we started the podcast, a lot of the people who listen to our show are American, which we love, Merca, we love you. But we're Canadian, and we wanted more Canadians to know that we exist, and we said, okay, let's start off with where we live in Montreal. And so we're like, okay, what can we do? And you know, to start exposing ourselves to Montrealers and that they know that we exist. So ever since that, for the past 2 years, we just, you know, went from hosting open mic on one of like the top news talk radio station in Montreal, and actually we're going to do another one this Saturday. And then I'm hosting a live show in the community radio station in our community that I do 5 days a week for 2 hours. Just play some music and, you know, what's happening in the community or on the island of Montreal and things like that. So
DJ Shirley.
Yeah, and it's been kind of nuts. And now we're kind of like, okay, all this stuff is happening, and people are talking to us like, hey, are you guys thinking of, you know, taking this? We're considering, okay, let's take this seriously. What can we turn this into a business, something that we can no longer be a hobby, but we can make a living out of? And so pretty soon I might look into, you know, learning how to start a business. So it's been kind of crazy.
Oh yeah,
it's been kind of nuts.
I love to hear that, especially from the. And before we move on, because I was just having a bit of feedback again, we were testing the audio a little bit earlier, but I think I was wondering if you guys can just check on your side just to see if there's something that is still causing the echo. I know we were playing with that before.
Okay, are you hearing an echo, or?
It's just on our side when we speak, so we just wanted to make sure we get that cleared.
Mic check.
You.
Lori, you tried on your end?
Uh,
Oh, I
it's
think
on
it's
its-
fixed now.
you think so?
Hello.
Hi. Is it working? It's just when we speak, I think. It's when Cher and I speak, so I'm not sure what happens, but I hear the audio. Maybe it's getting fixed out right now, but we'll see how it goes.
Hmm.
Audio too.
No, I've already designated the audio feeds.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when a bunch of tech heads get together. We've got, like, as Lori was saying, the Spreecasters over on your side, and then you got the Google Plusers over on here, and now it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I love the fact that you guys are rocking the same feed, and this is two of you at the same time. I think it's awesome. So let's see. I think, Lori, it's time to kick it off in some hot topics. What you thinking?
Absolutely. Okay, so the first one we are talking about, because tonight, obviously, we have a lot to say. And the other thing that we also want to announce is that we also have a second show that we'll be doing at 10 o'clock. It is going to be a panel, and we'll be talking about the Ferguson verdict. So if anyone is watching, please make sure to tune in at the top of the hour. We'll have a new link and all that stuff, but we're excited about that. So the first topic, I mean, it's been dominating the news for the last couple of weeks, and I mean, it just seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse. And that is Mr. Bill Cosby and his putting things in the wrong place.
Intended.
I think it's up to 20 women at this point who've come forward and said that they believe that they've been drugged or there's been some kind of sexual misconduct that's happened. There's also been people who've come forward who said that they've, been covering up this, this behavior of Mr. Cosby in terms of paying off some of the women that have been suing him over the last couple of decades. So I wanted to weigh in. I mean, to me, the Cosby Show was like the quintessential American family. I don't know. I think you could resonate whether you're black, you're white, any race, really. And right now, that show is in jeopardy for the sake that, some channels are pulling it off the air. Do you guys feel he actually did? There's something going on there, that he actually did do something with all these ladies? And if so, do you feel bad for still wanting to watch the show, or do you not want to watch the show because of this coming to light?
This is really, really hard for me because I love
Not for me.
everything that represent Bill Cosby. It brings me back to think about R. Kelly and Chris Brown and then CeeLo, and how I love their artistry, but coming to find out all this stuff that was going on with all three of them, I decided no longer to continue to listen to their music. Even on my live show, I saw actually the other day an artist that collaborated with him that I really liked, that I still like, but I was just like, just kind of going through a tug of war, like,
Right.
should I play? But it features Chris Brown. So now with Bill Cosby, I don't know. I'm on the fence. First of all, this has been going on for a month, which is crazy. It's been this long, and it just, for me, I wouldn't think 15 women would get together with this grandiose plot or a way to sabotage an old man and his legacy. I don't believe that a bunch of women, or if there's some kind of conspiracy that would, gather and hey, who do we want to, which black man do we want to put down? Like Michael Jackson's
not Bill Cosby.
A really rich one.
Right. I'm thinking, I started thinking, what are they trying to get? I hope they're not trying to get anything. It's tough. For me, I hope that in some way that it would lead by the law. If the women, I know that there's was it the statute or
Statute of limitations?
Yeah, so there's a lot of that enables them to do that, but I hope there's another way that it would be brought to court so we can know, okay, what's going on? Let's
Mhm.
start investigating these allegations even further.
I don't think there's a statute of limitation on rape in Canada.
Not in Canada,
I don't
I'm
think
not
so.
sure. I don't know if it's a provincial, if it's a
I don't know.
province thing, or if it's a nation. But I know in the States there is, and I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm hoping that it goes to court so we can finally get some truth or what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I
No.
could see someone like anyone who has that much power, like he has, especially younger days,
Mhm.
maybe. And it's funny. I was thinking about it too, and I thought, is it tough for me to kind of believe it because I see him as an older man and everything that he's contributed? Like I didn't think of going to college without watching like the Cosby Show.
Or a different world for that matter.
Yeah, A Different World made such an impression on me that made me think to go to college,
Mhm.
and the whole experience and everything. And I started thinking if Cosby was 30 or 40 years old, I probably would be quicker to judge him than now.
Really?
Yeah. I know it's kind of even weird for me to have thought that or even think that, but I don't know.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. He's that ingrained into your childhood,
right?
For that matter, yeah.
So it's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough. What do you think, hon?
Oh, I have no problem, not supporting, creepy guys like this. Like any dudes that are sketchy, I can't. I have no problem separating them from, or not separating them from their music, because I don't want to support their music. Because when you support their music, you support them, you support more of them doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
So no.
So not at all, huh, Clove?
Nope. No love for the cause.
It's interesting because, like, you look back at how bad the breakup was. Denise Huxtable, a.k.a. what can I think of her name? Lori, what's her name? Lisa Bonet. And that whole spin-off onto the show, she refused to ever come back on the Cosby, like very rarely come back. And then you sit here and you're like connecting dots that don't necessarily exist, but you can't help but think, like with all these people coming forward and talking about it, you just have to wonder. Like I've seen that rumor float quite a few times now where it just wouldn't be surprising.
Absolutely. I mean, I am kind of like Shirley. I feel guilty because I'm like, it's kind of like that was like the show you could watch. Like I could sit there and watch a whole bunch of Cosby episodes and be like, oh yeah, like that was such a funny. It's kind of like how they're really into like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it's like if Will Smith were to come out and like there'd be something that'd be like really bad against Will Smith, you'd be like, oh, I'm not really supposed to be watching the Fresh Prince anymore. But I mean, I'm very similar, like, similar to a lot of people when it comes to, some people's indiscretions. I think he's not being, I don't like, compared to some other, let's say if we were talking about men in media who've done some really awful things, I feel like it's not too bad for him. Like this whole kind of smear campaign, or him, not smear is maybe not the right word, but I feel like if it was someone else, it would be way worse. I feel like there is a level of respect for him, and some people are kind of, oh, we're not really sure if this is true or not. So I guess it will be interesting to see how it all plays out in the media and in the courts, or whatever is going to happen with Mr. Bill Cosby.
Yeah, I just feel like people like Cosby and Ghomeshi, they're just bring out to the surface something that's been going on in Hollywood or entertainment for a very long time, where people who have a voice like they do, who are in power positions like they are, building, you know what I mean, where people are dependent off of them because, they pay the bills, right? They bring in the checks for you. This is something that's not new, that, in Hollywood or anywhere all the time. It's just now you just have public figures that are very popular that represents something, kind of like a underground thing that just people always knew but never really talked about.
I just think it's a shame that there isn't more of a halt. There isn't more of a like stop the presses. I mean, this guy is in a power position. This guy has multiple allegations coming out against him. Stop the presses. You know what I mean? He has the ability to do this. You know, if he were inclined to be that personality type, he has the ability to do it just because of the power position he's in.
Yeah.
It seems like it had to escalate to, you know, almost a petition being signed to say, like, pay attention to this. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where
we'll definitely see. And you brought up our next hot topic, which is Gian Ghomeshi. And I mean, he's actually got to duck and cover a little bit with this whole Cosby scandal, because it's just like Cosby's the bigger name, which is really interesting. But at the same time, like, he just withdrew, which is very interesting, a recent crack in the case. He just withdrew his $55 million wrongful dismissal suit for the CBC, and that just happened as of today. So that's yet another hot topic. So it didn't take timing at all.
And in addition to that, he also must pay $18,000 to the CBC for legal cost as a result of it, because one thing is, he is a union member. And as a union member, you cannot sue a company. That's not the first line that you go to if there is some kind of dispute with your employer. You must have your union grieve it. So that was something that was a theory from a long time ago. But as we know, like, everything that John had done with regards to coming out in the media and trying to get in front of this story, I mean, we saw that definitely blow up in his face. But of course, we know that the Toronto police are still investigating the 3 cases or the 3 reports of women that have come forward to file an official, I guess, complaint or report against him. So what do you guys think about John, and do you feel like he has a future in the industry?
He's so done. He is Blacklist is too small of a...
He might be able to sustain himself with a podcast with some of his diehard fans.
He needs to go to Greenland and start something there, because he's done. He's done, and
I guarantee you, okay, I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm going to speculate that the very first meeting with him and his lawyer and the CBC probably was accompanied by a stack full of HR complaints against this guy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They're like, really? Do you really want me to?
Really want to see?
They will read every single one of these.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? My feeling on this is, Cher, I never even got to let you say something, but my feeling on all of these things is, when these companies, you know, they put people up, you know, they're the stars of the network. This isn't the only story of, you know, this is a bad story, because, I mean, it involves, like, violence against women. But there are plenty of on-air hosts, stars of, you know, TV shows that are narcissists, that have bad behavior, that treat coworkers, their staff.
Yeah, remember David Letterman?
Crap. They treat them like crap. And, you know, in this day and age, with something called an iPhone or a Galaxy, with, you know, voice recorders and pictures and text messages, you would think that people would say in those positions, because I guarantee you that in Canada, there are other people who are doing bad things out there, that, you know what, if we were a scandalous country, like, let's say, the States, you know, you never know what someone can build up against somebody with, you know, technology and stuff like that. But so I feel kind of like these employers have, you know, closed their eyes to this situation, because the rumors apparently were all out there, in, you know, people knew of this man's bad behavior, and I'm sure, you know, people close their eyes because, as you said, it's a money situation.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah, as long as he's successful, 100 people around him are earning a paycheck. So those 100 people are going to try and defend him the best they can.
Yeah.
Cher, do you think that you know, he could have a career still?
I think it is funny, because we've seen comeback kids, we've seen so many people make mistakes, do drugs, do all kind of stuff, and still come back. I think he still, unfortunately, I don't agree, and I wouldn't be a member of his audience. However, I think anybody can come back I've just seen it happen too many times, and people, like, look at Chris Brown. Like, I mean, this is way worse. I recognize that. But at the same time, unfortunately, I'm going to call it and say, yeah, not the career, not the same trajectory. He can never reach that pinnacle of success. But I still think he can come back, and I still think he can make money with his personal brand. Love him or hate him, I think that he will still have a following, regardless of and he might attract a different crowd as well.
Yeah, I think what
it's so gross.
I would hate this.
It is.
I mean, I think if the only idea I can think of that could probably save him is if he laid everything out on the line. Like if he did some kind of reality show or documentary.
You're way too easy on these guys.
No, but I think I could see the possibility of something like that would probably give him a chance again. But he would have to be open, like, open book, no holds barred. We have access to you, and it's like a reality show related to him learning about what he's done and getting therapy and like the whole.
I think that's more for us, though. I totally disagree. I think that there is a whole set of people that will listen to him. There's a whole set of misogynistic, for lack of a better word, assholes that will go and listen to him and support him and respect him. And there's a lot of victim blaming going on. There's a lot of other stuff. Well, what were they really doing? Did they really come out? Did that really happen? Like, there's a lot of that. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, well, I'm entertained, so it's okay. I'm not saying that I would never support him. I'm just saying that there are people out there. The globe is like, there's a global stage out there. And I just thought anybody can come back when you think of a larger stage.
It's terrible that you're absolutely right with that there is a demographic for that kind of douchebaggery.
Yeah, douchebaggery. I love it.
Douchebaggery channel.
All right. Let's move on to our next topic, which is Bow Wow. Bow Wow recently came out blasting Black America, blacks, saying that he hates the hateration that he's getting because he is marrying Erica Mena. She is a reality star, and she's also a Latina. And he's saying that he does not like that, all the hateration he's getting from Black America, the fact that he is not marrying a black woman. So, this is obviously something that has been talked about many, many times again, interracial marriage, interracial dating. So I just want to know, I mean, here, we have Cho Nilla right here. So I want to know about what you guys think in terms of, is one race, if we are talking about, let's say, just black and white, that is more against it, that, in your experience, you guys have been together for, 20 plus years?
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that somebody can let someone they don't know who lives like halfway across the planet affect their lives. You know what I mean? Like, for someone to be that upset over someone else's decision, man, you got to start living a little.
I know. I guess a lot of women thought
creepy.
They had a chance with Bow Wow.
It's creepy.
But do you guys find that, like, one race is more judgmental of interracial relationships in your experience? Do people, is it you're walking down the street and more, black men or black women are kind of giving you guys like a weird look, or do you find it more of like, let's say like white people or,
I think the most static we've gotten is from black men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Overall?
Yeah, when we were younger too.
Try to generalize, yeah.
Yeah, when we were younger. Not so much now that we're older, we're much more comfortable with who we are, and there's a vibe that, like when you're young and you're not sure, and I think, like I've mentioned this on our show, when I started dating Clove, he was the first white guy I dated, so
first and last, right?
First and last, yes. And there was a period of adjustment for me. Like I was really worried about what people think, particularly black people, and I didn't know how to handle it really, and I think I gave off that vibe, which left kind of a slight open door for that kind of stare or judgment from black men, I guess. And as I grew older and much more comfortable with who I am, that door just is shut, lock. You say a peep, I'm gonna give you a look. You know what I mean? Like, I think the worst we've had was like, if we're so naive. We used to live in St. Catharines, so we used to visit Niagara Falls, New York, or Buffalo a whole lot. And the first time that we were just so oblivious. And I go, let's go to a beauty supply store in the hood.
Yeah, this is Buffalo.
And like these two black men are staring us down.
If anybody is from Buffalo, it was Bailey Avenue.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't go there. And we'd get the stares from black guys, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, no, you weren't getting the stares. I was getting the stares.
They were eyeing Clove
God.
what is going on?
Oh, yeah.
And
how does that make you feel, Clove?
I don't know. Anytime I got to swell up a little bit more than I need to, it
it's homework,
makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it sucks. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah, because it's going to be like, it's going to turn into where you're going to have to be, I guess, charming enough to get their attention long enough to make them laugh or something like that. But I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think we kind of have that, I guess, a privilege, the fact that we're in Canada. You don't see that very much. We've moved around a lot in not in many provinces, but a few, and that would always be a worry. Like when we moved to Edmonton, I thought, oh boy, we're gonna have to deal with this whole interracial thing.
This is weird. This is weird because
people are so amazing. That's not a big deal. It was all in my head, you know.
But at the same time that I said that we've gotten the most static from black men, it's kind of like the same on the opposite end of the spectrum. Do you know what I mean? Like if I walked into a room with you and there was like I don't know, like 4 or 5 black guys there, and 2 of them had a problem with us, there was always one black guy who didn't have a problem, and he'd always be really open to talk and to hang out and stuff like that. So yeah, it's weird.
Here's my thought on this whole Bow Wow thing. I'm gonna throw it in a different direction. He needs media attention right now. Okay, and I'm just thinking, I don't think that many people care about Bow Wow and his 4'11" self. Like, no one cares. I really don't think anybody cares. So it's like, if he's gonna, I'm sure there are people. There's always gonna be haters on the internet, but not to the scandal level of tweets that like an episode of Scandal will get, that people are just hating on him at that kind of level. Like, come on, I just think he needs some attention. So that's my opinion. Hey.
I agree. Sorry, Cher. I think it's just the fact that it's it has nothing to do with, I think it's a representation of maybe her character.
Yeah.
She's in Love and Hip Hop, and that's one of the biggest thing. And she used to be, she's bisexual, right? Didn't she used to date one of the Love and Hip Hop people? And I think,
wow.
Yeah, and I think it's more why, if he is getting backlash from what he says, black women, it's more because of the character that she represents. It has nothing to do with the Latina aspect.
Exactly.
The fact that she's Latina, it'd be like not a big
less.
Or not a big deal.
Yeah. So I just personally, I'm gonna call it Bow Wow wants media attention because he's not getting any otherwise.
I'm Team
What are
Cher.
your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. I definitely agree. We have a comment from Candace Montague, and she says, black men got a lot of nerve. They complain about black women dating outside the race. They complain about Shonda Rhimes showing black women loving white men on the show. But as soon as they decide to date outside of the race, black women are supposed to take notes on how to get a man.
Oh, love it. I love it.
Oh,
it's
man.
terrible. I tell you.
People are so angry with other people. People just, oh my God.
Yeah.
Just so want to be involved with their lives.
And I've never known the extent on and like I said, we are kind of privileged because we're in Canada. But since we started a podcast, one of the things we do is we celebrate the beauty of interracial love, and we have featured Chonilla couples. So we show all sorts of different kinds of interracial couples and everything. And I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, that I was really surprised by that. And it felt like in the United States there was this, like, a lot of black men, like you mentioned, just angry at the fact that a black woman is dating outside of her race, because there seems to be like the pressure is on black women in order to continue the black race, but then the black men can just, I could do whatever I want, no pressure, like it's crazy.
That's the story of men on this planet.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I love this comment from Abdullah. I'm going to put that up there right now. In just a second. And you have to realize that you have people that want what you have, and that's where the hate comes from, no matter the color. Oh, that couldn't be more true, Abdullah. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Cool. That's very true. But let's move on. Another topic that's been kind of dominating the last couple of days. And we're happy, Clove, to have you on the panel today to weigh in. But so last week, Beyonce dropped 7-Eleven. It's her latest video where she is wearing, undies, dancing around with her girls in a hotel room. And she's doing some twerking, she's doing some booty popping and all that. And I mean, like, it's kind of coincidental that, a couple weeks ago, Kim Kardashian, full-on butt shot, oiled down on the cover of Paper magazine. And then, of course, J-Lo, who just performed at the, the American Music Awards?
Yeah.
That was it? On her and that Iggy Azalea have that song together, and it's just full-on butt. So it's just all these ladies are just trying to show off their assets.
And don't forget Anaconda.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Miss Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the question to you is this, like, are all these women, like, are they kind of in competition with each other? Who has the better butt? Clove, tell us your thoughts on that one.
Oh.
I'll tell you who's got the best butt. That's Shirley.
Oh, I love it. Yay!
Right. Well, I was going to say, like, these videos that I see where these girls are shaking their quote-unquote butts around.
Their big booty.
It's, I see bigger and nicer butts, 3 times a day on the metro.
But if you had to pick between Beyonce, J-Lo, Nicki Minaj,
women.
Yeah, who has it?
I guess Iggy too. We would put that in there.
Yeah.
Iggy. Yeah.
Does she have what?
Yeah, she kind of does.
She has a butt.
Yeah, she got a little something.
But that's a hard competition. I know.
Can't forget to add Kim to that.
Really? You're thinking this hard?
You're gonna
some factors I got to take into consideration.
Do you need a calculator?
It's like that cup factor. You got to figure in, like, the width and the girth and the cup. It's all about that cup action.
Okay.
Or bum cup, as we used in a previous episode.
I'm going to go with J-Lo.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Can I just come in and interject?
Can I say,
Interject.
Can I say Erykah Badu?
No, stop.
She can't be in it.
Listen, I think J-Lo looks great. She's 45. I think, she looks great. But I think she needs to calm it down because she was trying extra hard. Like, she is not a singer, okay? And she wants to dance and be a performer. She performed the other day. She wanted to have her booty out so that she could have she looked tired. She looks tired, okay? And I'm not hating because I like J-Lo and I think she looks awesome. Like, just her on the street with her 2 kids, put her in a romantic comedy, great. If they want to put a nice butt shot, for sure. But honestly, I think, like, I personally feel like she's just always trying to be like, I'm trying to be relevant. I'm trying to be relevant. So I understand, Clove, if you think she has a good butt. I get it. And I'm not saying she doesn't, but I'm just saying she needs to calm it down.
Right.
All I'm going to say is I know that the Brazilian butt lift by Beachbody, their stocks went way up. Okay, that's it. Everybody wants to get in on that butt action.
But you know what? Wait a second. We
Do you want to
talk
get in
about
on
these
that butt
butts.
action,
You know
Shirley?
what's the best butt?
Who's that?
in Janet Jackson.
She's got some butt, yeah.
No. Go back and look at some Janet Jackson.
Some Rhythm Nation?
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
underrated.
That's where it really shows. The side profile, that's a badonkadonk.
Yeah.
I think Mary J. Blige had a big butt, too.
I say if I had to choose, if I could superimpose any of those bodies over, I think I'd have to take some Beyonce on my side. That's what I would say.
Yeah, it's a butt with some hip action.
Exactly.
I don't think Beyonce really has a butt, but I mean, like at the end of the day,
I'd take it.
I'm neither there. Like, I don't know, all these women like Kim Kardashian. Like, I was like, I don't know. I feel like all these women, like, we know that J-Lo is not, you know, married anymore. I'm sure she has like a little boyfriend or something. But I'm like, I don't know. Is their man not paying attention to them? Is that why they need to go out there and be like shaking their booties for like men and women to see? I don't know. That's my feeling on this. All this like booty.
I think
it's
what's
excessive.
hot. It's like remember in the 1960s when what's that model, and she had short hair. She was really skinny.
Twiggy?
Twiggy, right? Like if back then Twiggy was the hotness, right? To look like her, to be thin like her.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of women would thrive to be that, and anyone in the entertainment industry or was a public figure would go for some form of a Twiggy look. And right now it's butts, and so it's just really it's a marketing strategy. Like, okay, what's hot? Big butts. All right,
It is weird though when Miley Cyrus pads her butt and starts jumping around like that, right?
It's scary, actually. My eyes, it starts going
stupid.
blurry.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. It definitely is. So
let's talk about something else that's a bit much. Once again, Clove, happy you're on the panel for this one. Shirley, not to say that I'm not happy, but you know, it's nice to
get hear you.
Perspective, you know. Well, all this estrogen up here, but like I feel like time and time again we keep on hearing about teachers who are having these affairs with, I mean, we know about Mary Kay Letourneau from back when with the 13-year-olds that she went and had babies with, but more and more we are hearing about these women, these teachers that are sexting with these students, these male students, as well as carrying on like full-on illicit sexual love affairs with them. I think I remember looking at like a news feed when like the latest one came out. I think it's like a lady down south in America. She was caught sexting with, you know, one of her students. And I believe that looking at when all this like always comes out every, you know what, every month there's a new story. I remember looking at my cousin's newsfeed, a male cousin from the States, and he said like, oh man, I wish I was that kid back in high school where I get to hook up with a teacher. But I wanted to be like, I know like when I was growing up, it was always like we had like the creepy like, you know, science teacher that was like rubbing your back or something like that. What are your feelings on it? Like now it seems like, you know, boys are kind of replacing the girls when it comes to this kind of behavior where they're being preyed on. In one respect, do you feel that, you know, boys at that age are getting props and are thinking like, that's awesome, I have an older women? Or do you look at it the exact same way as if it was happening, a male teacher doing it to a female?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it would completely be the same because I have a teenage boy, and the idea that if, oh my gosh, just the idea,
you know what it is?
Of a teacher texting him, no.
So what it is? It's the power position that makes it creepy.
Yeah. Period. Whether it's a male teacher or a female teacher.
Yeah.
And I could see boys, you know, like I remember when we were in high school, and you and your boys would like, they would blatantly flirt with the art teacher because she was the youngest out of the group of teachers at that school, and they would just blatantly say some really things that you just shouldn't say to a teacher. You know,
we
like,
were harassing her just
a little bit, just a little bit, and then I thought like, well, that's kind of weird, you know. And she handled it beautifully. She just ignored you guys or just smiled in order to kind of like stop the harassment a little bit. But yeah, she never did things to kind of make it progress. I guess, you know, but.
No, if she did, everybody would have stopped.
Really?
Because everybody would have been creeped. I know I would have been creeped out.
So you.
actually happening.
So you would be creeped out that she'd respond to you guys just flirting with her and saying like, "Hey, looking hot, Madame so and so."
If she returned fire, I would.
Oh wow!
I believe it. I believe that that's exactly what it is. Like if you are some teenage boy and you have a hot teacher in her 20s and she is flirting with you, I feel like boys that age would feel like score. Like, do you know how hot it is? But as parents, I mean, Cher, I mean, you have 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel about this? Like, I mean, I know amongst their friends, this could be a cool thing, but, you know, do you feel, I mean, I know it's kind of unfair because you don't have a daughter, but would it be worse one way or the other?
No, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting because they're leveraging their position of power. I mean, for boys, it's even easier, I think, to take advantage because of the way their hormones work and the way, like, they're balls of hormones, you know what I mean? And, like, I just think that it's an awful thing to do to someone. Like, Mama would be at school, I'll tell you that much right now. Me and that teacher, I would find her. So I'll just put that out there.
Mm.
Yeah, so that way
we got your back, Cher.
All right. And we have one more really tough issue to talk about. And by the way, we will be talking about it again at 10 o'clock on the top of the hour. But Ferguson. And I mean, this has been a just ongoing discussion over the summer. Social media has been able to blow this up and really provide an awesome lens to, and not awesome in the sense of we've never had this level of access and knowledge and even empowerment as far as like seeing how people are mobilizing on the streets, and not just the negative side, but also the side where there's a lot of social activism around what's happening in Ferguson. So, I mean, the decision came out last night from the grand jury. We just wanted to get your thoughts on that before we close off this episode.
I mean, I know last night my mom was over before she headed to Haiti today. And so all 3 of us, we were, you know, we all knew we had plans that we had to go to bed early and stuff like that, but we couldn't. We were glued to the TV watching and seeing the action and, you know, seeing what was going on. And the whole time, it's just devastating. And I talked about it. I mean, the show that I do, the live show that I do, and the time that I'm on, I'm really about having fun and just kind of let go and listening to some good music. But I couldn't shut up about this. I needed to state my case or, you know, share my.
I get it.
And because all I can think of, it's just, even like when I was looking at the newspaper online and the way that it just made me think about the media on how they word it, on how they put it, like, you know, that white officer was indicted, you know, and it was the grand jury decided this on this white officer who shot this black 18-year-old person, you know, they make Mike Brown and da-da-da. And I was like, see, this is the media doing that thing again where they're trying to bring it as a racial thing. And for me, I look past that. It's a human thing. The fact that an 18-year-old child got shot down like that with no saying, like, okay, I'm gonna stop, you know, hands up, and to get shot down like that in public, left to dead on the street like that, it's just inhumane. It's just wrong, you know. And to bring the racial aspect to it, it throws everything off to, like, let's focus on the facts. That there's a family who has lost their 18-year-old son.
Yes, it's a real dip in the moral landscape.
Yeah, that's what it is. Let's look at this morally, and let's look past this whole, it has nothing to do with race, but on the moral aspect to what happened, it's horrible.
If you peel away the race, it's just as horrific.
Yes, yeah.
I think the racial aspect, I have to interrupt you there. I think that the racial aspect, as opposed to peeling away, I think it's adding on a layer, because you know what I mean? I think that we can't ignore that this is an issue of race. I don't think he would have been shot if he wasn't a black male. And I think that the oppression of black males, specifically like they're at the breaking point, and we're seeing that now spill out onto the streets. Like, it's so hard to sit back here in very peaceful places, in places where we feel that our rights, we are a little bit more defended, at least on the surface level, and but to sit back there, especially in that like socioeconomic set, and sit there and to judge. I know that you talk, like, you just see like a week later something else happened, 2 weeks later something else happened, and we're just seeing the same cycle. And yes, we have to recognize the human aspect of it. It's horrific, but I don't think it would have happened if he wasn't black. And I think that to peel that layer away, I think, I do agree with you in the sense that the media is definitely poking the bear on this, and to charge it up so that, you know, they can continue to sell advertising. They can continue to make us all upset. But it is a race issue. I don't think there's any way that we can ignore that.
I don't think so either. And I think that's the point we were trying to make, is that even though the race issue is the important issue, that the underlying issue of it being the human thing is just horrific. And then you put, you know, it's accented by the fact that this is a racially driven, power driven thing.
Yeah, I saw somebody on Facebook a quote that Jon Stewart said. I thought it was just so brilliant, because I've been in that situation talking about race, particularly if it's someone who is not like a white person, and you get that look like, oh, this really, you know, it's a race issue. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what?
Oh, here we go, talking about race again.
Right.
Oh, bringing up the race card.
Exactly, and what he said was in the quote, or I guess he said this on the show, if racism is something you're sick of hearing about, imagine how exhausting it must be living it every day.
Yes.
And I was
Exactly.
like, bam, yes.
And interestingly enough, I just want to plug what's coming up next at the top of the hour, probably just a little over after 11 o'clock. We are having a panel of black men who, can you hear me or no?
No, I was saying after 10 o'clock. You said 11.
10 o'clock. I said 11. Wow. Yeah. I have no concept of time. At the 10 o'clock hour, we are going to be talking about this very issue. We're actually having a town hall meeting on it, and it's having the perspective of 4 black men, and just the fact that you mentioned, Shirley, the bit from the Daily Show, and just how exhausting it is to have to explain this. It's exhausting to have to deal with this, explain that yes, there is racism. Yes, it still does exist. It's not history. It is current events, and having to deal with that, whether it's on social media, whether it's in the workplace, to have these exhausting conversations, and then to have this. Not to mention profiling and everything else that comes into play. So we're going to be talking about that right after. So if you guys are watching, tune into our next episode as well.
Absolutely. Chonilla, Shirley, and Clove, want to say thank you guys so much for joining us on our Hot Topics episode. We had a blast with you guys. Tell us how people can connect with you and, you know, listen to your podcast and all. You're awesome.
You could definitely, if you simply Google Chonilla, that's CHONILLA, or if you type chonilla.com, that's a way that you can hear the show. You can read some of our blogs. We have a section, when you go on the website and you click on post under couples, you'll see again the beauty of Chonilla love. All over the world, you know, because for us, Chonilla is kind of like our like version. It's our interracial slang, like the slang for interracial. So we love to feature couples and learn about.
Interracial sounds too porno.
Stop.
It does.
It does. So Chonilla love is better. But we love to showcase just, you know, reading stories of how people met and what their families and friends thought about their relationship. It's really interesting. You know, how some families are all for it and some families are like, you know. don't bring that home type of thing. Like, so it's really cool to read of all these stories, and yeah, so like we do our live show Wednesdays and Fridays on Spreecast, or if you just type chillnilla.com/live, that's the way that you can hang out with us, have some fun. We talk about hot topics, we talk about our lives, sometimes we share a little too much information.
Kids interrupt the show. It's
it's
awesome. It's a great time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. And as we said, we're going to go take a break, get ourselves situated with our other panelists. Thank you guys so much for joining us on the show, and make sure to come back at 10 o'clock. See you guys later.
That's right. And Abdullah, Carmen, Candace, we got your comments, so make sure you bring them over to the other side. Okay? And as well, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in a few.